What's up, everybody? And I want to talk about coworkers and friends. Can your coworkers be your friends? I don't know. I've seen other videos on YouTube where they keep saying your coworkers are not your friends. They are not to be trusted. They can be snakes. They can throw you under the bus. So we have to be careful. I, I've even heard people say, "Hey, don't date anybody at your place of business. That can end wrong as well." And so I'll be transparent. I only have 5 co-workers that I'm still friends with. I still haven't seen them in years. I send them, happy birthday text, Merry Christmas, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, and that's it. It's just 5 people. I've been working. I started as an intern in 2006, so this makes 19 years of me working in corporate America. And out of those 19 years, only 5 people are people whom I made friends with. Started coworkers and now we're friends, and I don't even see them like that. And I'm not saying that you can't be friends with coworkers. That is completely impossible. I remember at one company I was with, there was these 2 coworkers that ended up marrying each other. And, met at the office and end up getting married, and there you have it. So it's possible. They went all the way into the whole relationship stage of it, beyond friendship. But you see so many other people talking about, I guess, because maybe there's a silent competition in the workplace, whether it be public sector with the government or private sector like Microsoft, and people are trying to move up, get raises, promotions. It all comes back down to that dollar, and people trying to make as much money as they can. And so you have people willing to throw people under the bus and step on them to get to where they need to be. And we have to be careful about who we step on. If you're stepping on people to get up the ladder, just in case you fall down, you'd be surprised who you see on your way down. So that's definitely not the way to be. And some people never fall down that ladder and they step on people to go up there. And some people go in with that mindset, I think, with this whole workplace environment. And so that's why you have other people with their horror stories at the job about co-workers and why they don't trust them, and they say one thing or say another. And I mean, everybody's a co-worker, and so someone might use that same energy against you, as you're not to be trusted and they don't share information. I've never thrown any co-worker under the bus or anything like that, but at the same time, I'm not asking for information from them about whatever. And we're not even talking about business related when coworkers get in and just starting to ask, you know, trying to get more so information on you versus you just going there doing your job and coming home. You may have a business culture where you're at that doesn't like that, because they're trying to see where you stand, where you lie politically, religiously, all of that. And it's really none of their business. But if they find that out, they can use all of that against you. I remember I was at the barbershop, and there's one guy who does cabling work. He told this story about, you know, the company he's with, and they have a company Facebook page where everybody can join and put in comments. But he said the stuff that he's talking about on his personal Facebook page, he's like, no, I can't. He wouldn't put it in the company Facebook page, but people may see you there and then want to send you an individual friend request. And not only that, you can go on the page, and now that they know your page is something that's, they now know that it's you. Sometimes people just will go on the page just to see what you have going on your social media. And the stuff that he's talking about, he says, no, I'll be in the soup line begging for food if I get connected with coworkers based on my beliefs and values. And so that's where he cuts the whole coworker thing off. I remember a guy who I graduated from high school with, he would share these conversations on his Facebook page about going out with coworkers. He would go outside with them, and that's cool. But then they would start asking questions about his wife, and he would tell them that's where he would cut it off. He wouldn't even bring his wife to outings with his coworkers. They'll go out after the office and have some food and then go home. But he only lets the company see him. His wife, none of that. She's invisible. And so, another thing is just I remember helping a coworker with a computer issue, and they didn't stay too far from me. We were in two different cities. His suburb was probably 15 minutes west of mine, and he was saying we could have a company outing. He said, send him a message on the computer, and I don't even know what he looks like because he called in to the IT department for technical help. He was a nice guy, and I don't even remember his name. And he was saying we should go out for a company outing, and I'm like, okay, but it never happened. And I've been to company outings, and it's usually more than two people, and the company actually makes an announcement about it. A Christmas party, whatever the case may be, not just two coworkers who don't know each other except for voice over the phone, and then we're in close cities, so now we're going to share a location and go meet at a public place. I mean, to each their own if he wants to do that, but I never did. I'm like, okay, and that was it. So I definitely understand people trying to keep business and, I guess, pleasure, fun, personal stuff separate. And yes, I think you can have co-workers as friends. I don't think you should be at the job just trying to make 20, 25 different co-workers your friend. You're not there for that. But it may be one or two or three that, you gravitate to, and you all connect, and that's cool, and you all understand each other, where you all stand on certain political values, religion. And so if you connect on social media with them, become friends on Facebook, they see what you're posting, and they're not going to be telling human resources or other coworkers at the office, yeah, I'm friends with so-and-so on Facebook, or I follow them on TikTok, and, they post videos about this. And now they're showing people where to find you. Because people don't necessarily look up people unless it's really brought to their attention. There may be some people who take their time to put in first and last names of coworkers just to see what social media they may be on. I've never done that. I've never searched for anyone. They're even knowing their name as a coworker. I don't go searching just to see if they have social media. I've had coworkers suggested to me by LinkedIn, and I've never even connected with them on LinkedIn. They'll say, hey, this is a suggestion. I'm like, okay, I remember so-and-so. And then, never connect. And, LinkedIn may be a safer place based on what you like to post to connect to someone, because they're just going to be on your LinkedIn page, which is more business focused, even though LinkedIn now, people are doing more personal stuff on there. I remember I saw a post of a lady who was incarcerated, and she was showing the pictures of the prison she was in, and her the number they have as an inmate, and she was talking about her journey. Hey, I went from prison to this and all of that. And so LinkedIn has definitely gotten more personal in terms of what people put on there. It's not just business related. People are posting videos on there, YouTube videos of their own. I guess they're trying to get eyes on their channel. I put my YouTube videos on LinkedIn at this point, and trying to draw traffic. But again, the whole coworker thing, I can see why some people are hesitant to connect based on you don't know how people are going to look at what you post, and then word gets around the office, the factory, like, hey, this person is into this. And, if it doesn't really align with company culture, yeah, you may be out there on the soup line. So we have to use our best judgment and really question coworker that, we find ourselves getting really comfortable with. And if we want to take this to a friendship and letting them know, hey, this is what I'm into. So, don't go telling other co-workers, we friends, this is what I post, things like that. Because, they may throw you under the bus based on what you post, especially if you two are up for a promotion, a position, things like that. And then the manager, the company is looking for a deciding factor. And then if, your social media, which has absolutely nothing to do with the position itself, that might be the tiebreaker there, and it goes against you. And so, with DEI being gone, and then things just supposed to be merit based and who can do the job, being too close to coworkers and they seeing what you put on the internet, not that you're putting anything that's inappropriate, it's nothing where you are, dressed inappropriately, things like that. It's just your opinion on things. People can find that inappropriate even though it may not be. You just have a difference of opinion, but then now you get into freedom of speech, and then that coworker, they can use that against you, even though you more than qualified for the promotion for that job, but now you throw other things in there. And so I don't know if that were to happen, and you think that's the thing, you think that's why you didn't get the position based on a post, and you arguing freedom of speech. But the thing is, it will be very hard to prove that you didn't get the promotion based on a post. The coworker said something. That may be why it is. The coworker said something, showed it like, hey, look what so and so puts on there. They make the decision. That person gets a promotion. You get to keep your job, and then you're like, And you might not even suspect that someone, your coworker, friend, went behind your back. I'm not gonna even say friend, coworker went behind your back, and as they were trying to get some more details on the company's decision, which way they're leaning towards, who's getting a promotion, and then you bring that up, and they like, oh. And so now what you post, like I said, is not in line with company's core values, and so they don't necessarily say nothing to you about it, but they just get the promotion to someone else, and everyone still smiles at you, and you keep your job, and they keep paying you every 2 weeks, and hopefully you get your raise during your year-end review, your yearly review, things like that. But the promotion, other opportunities, you all of a sudden don't get considered for again until you switch to a different company or just start working for yourself, all because a co-worker shared a post on things that you speak about that the company may say, that's a little sticky topic, things like that. And so, and this may be a coworker that you consider your friend, but we really have to use our best judgment in understanding which coworkers should stay coworkers and which coworkers can be a friend. But it all comes down to you and just asking the right questions before you all get too involved. And you may not be the one that will show, hey, this is how they think about this, because you know how they'll take it in the corporate arena. But you just never know how they may treat you, especially if you two are competing for a certain promotion. That's what it all comes down to, or the chance to work alongside so-and-so, and just all the opportunities it can lead to taking that path. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of workplace relationships have been destroyed over coworker drama, and people who thought the coworker was my friend, but then they do this, and sometimes they just bringing you in closer, and you thinking, okay, we go to the office building and think this person, we hang out, go to lunch together, but hey, they trying to be a snake behind your back. So you got to be careful. Again, can your coworker be your friend? Yes, but we really have to use our best judgment, especially in 2025 at this point. Just because so many people are focused on making the dollars, the money, and so what's a friendship if I can get a promotion? The friendship would just be for people to let their guard down, and then that person uses that to their advantage. You heard of pillow talk when people get in relationships, and you got men and women telling each other certain things because they're confiding and they trust this person, their pillow talk, and then you consider that person your ally that you're laying next to, but things go wrong with the relationship, and then that same person becomes your enemy. My ally then get easily switched to my enemy. So in the office place, that's pillow talk that you have in a relationship, but in the office, cubicle talk. Pillow talk, cubicle talk. Can start off good, end bad. Anybody that's been in a relationship, and if you've had things used against you in your divorce and your child support, stuff that you just said while laying next to this person. And now here we go, cubicle talk. Co-workers, now we friends, and so the cubicle talk really gets deep. I'm going through this, going through that, but then all of a sudden, now that same cubicle talk is being used to throw you under the bus, just like the pillow talk. But I'm using cubicle talk to put it in terms for people who work in the office setting. And then whatever you all talk about outside the office, it just gets real personal. And then they take that back into the office where it should not be to get that promotion over you or whatever the case may be. So be careful with your cubicle talk. And if you work from home, be careful with your chats or whatever. If you all do video calls using Microsoft Teams or Zoom, be careful with your virtual talk. Pillow talk, cubicle talk, virtual talk, with the co-workers. Be careful before you decide to call this co-worker your friend. There's a lot of things that people need to go through before we get to that whole, oh, this is my friend. And people just feel because they work with someone that makes them allow them to pass into that friendship label that easily. Oh, we work together, so yeah, cool and all of that. And not necessarily. You still don't know each other. And so we sit up here and try and kumbaya, and you think because you're working on this project together, and once it's done, it might help make the company a lot of money. Like, yeah, we did it. We worked well. You put together the PowerPoint. They got the bullet points. Like, yeah, okay. But at the end of the day, that's all just business. Just business. And it's going to help the both of you advance in your careers and make more money. And if need be, you just leave it at that. We try and get into wanting someone to go to lunch with and things like that because we're looking for friends in the workplace, and sometimes you just need to leave that as the co-worker. If you got too many friends at the office, it's like, okay, all of these people, they can go on your social media and they know all about where you stand and everything else. And depending on where you stand, I don't know what your views are and what you're putting on your social media. Again, you got to use that better judgment. Freedom of speech will not work in your defense. So that's why it's best to just keep that separate. And don't mention that to any coworker. And if you get to one that where, you all are friends and both got something to lose and they've shared some things with you, not that you want to be using that against each other. We don't want to be petty and go tit for tat. But yeah, in this day and age with, the internet and everything else and how easily your information can be spread, we got to be careful before we make the transition from coworker to friend. And I'm not saying you got to go into it with a mindset of just do your job and come home. That's fine. I mean, that's what I do. Well, I work from home and then turn off the computer and that's it. I don't schedule anything to go meet someone out in public. Like, no, we just keep it professional and that's about it. And I'm kind and tell everyone, have a good day, take care, bye bye now. And that's it. We set those boundaries. So, continue to question your coworker who's now your friend as well as other opportunities arise, what they're going through. You don't want them to snake you, stab you in the back, things like that. And you giving them, enough ammunition to do it, especially on your social media platforms. If you really are speaking out against things, you're not just posting pictures of cats running across the piano, things like that. Stuff that they can say, oh, okay, you think like this and all of that. And they may know someone in the company who's got a higher position that's against that, and they'll use that to get them emotionally gaslighted. And so now they won't consider you for a higher position or to work on a project or be the head of the project because emotionally you don't line up to where they are. And it shouldn't come down to that, but it's a lot of politics in business, government, public sector, and private sector, which would be, like I said, Microsoft, IBM, something like that. Even if you got your own business, it can be politics with another company that you do business with or another person that may be self-employed and your clientele and what they align with. And someone might say something, if you view this that way, then you're losing clients. Your landscaping business, or you cut hair, or you braid hair, or do nails, and all things like that. And certain clients going back and talking, you got to be careful. Even though you're the boss, with what you share with certain clients, they'll get around and saying, "Oh, this person thinks that way or believes that way," and so now you, as a barber, you're losing clients. So you, even though you're the boss, you got to tread lightly on even what you tell your clients, just because you all in the shop or you do landscaping, whatever you do independently, and they come up and say, "Oh, you think like that," and that may be the last time they want to use you because they've gotten emotional. So start out with, on the surface level, dialogue with coworkers, or you work for yourself with clients, or someone else who's self-employed and you all trying to do something. Start off with surface level because you don't want that other business owner telling others who may be in the same industry as you, like, hey, yeah, this person think like that. And so now they don't want to do business with your landscaping business or whatever you do, your plumbing business or your heating and cooling business, because you believe this or feel this way about politics. So start with, on the surface level, dialogue. You can put whatever you want on your social media because people aren't necessarily going to just go towards that, who, unless you just throw your name out there and say, hey, yeah, I'm on this. And, a lot of people who are friends may search a person and just send them a friend request because that's just now the next step in being somebody's friend. We cool, we hang out, and then you find a person on Instagram and start following each other. And, it is what it is. But yeah, for people who are not your friends, we're just talking about clients, co-workers. You got your own business and you doing business with other people who have their own business. Keep the conversations at first on the surface before you start trying to be friends with this other self-employed person or your client. Some clients, you just need to do their nails if you're a nail technician, and leave it at that. Come back, let them pay you, rinse, cycle, and repeat. So yeah, so can co-workers be friends? Yes, but we have to be very effective in the questions that we're asking before we cross into that friend zone with the co-workers. And like I said, even taking it outside to self-employed people, your clients who you provide a service to, and other self-employed people who you may be trying to collaborate with, especially if they're in the same industry as you. Let's say you both do landscaping, and you don't want them going to other landscapers saying, "Hey, yeah, this person, you won't believe what they believe." So sometimes it's just best to keep stuff on the surface, and you just got to use your better judgment on who you can get deeper with in terms of things that people just may not understand from where you're coming from in that perspective. If they were to go to your Facebook or your Threads or your TikTok and be like, "Oh, they don't have an open mind." Now, that never bothered me. I have an open mind. So if I go to anyone's Snapchat or Instagram, I can say, "Okay, you feel that way." And I'm like, "Okay, that's interesting." And I definitely like to hear, why, and be like, "Okay." And I may just say, I've heard others with similar values. Okay, that's interesting. I keep an open mind. But, and then there are others that do as well. But again, we can't assume that everyone is going to have an open mind and then just say, "Hey, this is my friend now." No. Draw the line, keep it professional, have a nice day, and leave it at that. It'll save you time, headaches, and money, and then just go from there. So if you all got any other stories, good or bad, about coworkers, are you still friends with those same coworkers? Are any of you all that ever dated a coworker? Are you all still together now? So went coworker, dating, friends, and now you're in a relationship. You got positive stories, negative stories about dealing with your coworkers. Let me know down in the comments. I have just those same 5. I never really had any issues with anyone else, but I got to the point probably in 2015. That was the last coworker that I met that became a friend, and after that, I never really tried to be friends with any other coworkers. And I'm no longer even with that company, but that was the last time. And at this point, 10 years later, especially now working from home, you're not out there trying to send messages on Microsoft Teams or Zoom, trying to really, especially with a lot of my coworkers now not even in the same state as me, but even if the ones that were, or they just a few miles away in a different city, like, no, just keep it professional, and I think everything will end up nice and neat. But hey, if you all think differently, or all coworkers should be your friends, you rolling like that, let me know down in the comments. I'm open-minded. I love to hear it. I'm hoping you all have had more positives stories with your coworkers than bad. But like I said, there are other videos out here on YouTube where people are saying, "Hey, you don't trust your coworkers. They are not your friends." And I totally understand that point of view as well. So again, put it down in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's Facts or Feelings, all one word, no spaces. Put that in the YouTube search, Facts or Feelings, no spaces. My channel comes right up. And I'll leave you all with this. Be careful with the cubicle talk. What you say in your cubicle today might get you in trouble tomorrow. Keep your headset on. Focus on your own computer screen. Clock out. Come back to do it again another day. Until the weekend. Until you can retire, or before you retire, leave and start your own business, but still keep that same mindset about working with other self-employed people and your clients. Use them same rules with them like you do with your coworkers. Even though now you your own boss, hey, you can still lose out on clientele, which is losing out on money based on the same disagreements that you have with your coworkers. So keep all that in mind and watch your cubicle talk. I'm out.